Well, and here's maybe even a little bit of the truth. It might sound a little ironic, but because you have found your voice and you're executing your voice, you're creating trust with your clients or your audience before you've even met them. So you have trust. Now, in a large scale marketing, the irony is that can also break trust. And even going back to what you were saying earlier, during the heightened volume years, you were in a very transactional order taking sort of mode. And so you have found this footprint to connect your value, build trust with your audience before you've met. So by the time you guys get together, it's not transactional. It is values based. That's what everyone's striving for. Do we have the courage to take those steps forward? Because very easy to get stuck. I call it the great unstucking. Sometimes you just got to say, fuck it, and just press that red button and see where that starts to take you.
Yeah. And I work with Neil Dingra, who's super well known. He was one of the first people in the mortgage space to really build a brand online. And I use this with people all the time, but he has a framework for pretty much everything. And a lot of it is super helpful. And one of the things he says is, hey, look, if you post something online and it doesn't connect, it's not good, the algorithm knows that and they won't show it to people. So first of all, you don't have to worry about your bad stuff getting shown all over because the algorithm will not show it to people. And if it's really bad, like if you go on and say something's going to happen and then an election pops off or, the market tanks or whatever, his framework is you go back to that post, you hit the little button and you delete the shit and you just move on with your life. And so, it's like none of this really is that heavy. I think we think people care about us more than they do. We're
Yeah.
all thinking about ourselves, our families, our businesses, paying rent, whatever, paying our mortgage. And nobody really cares if, Danielle made a post where she predicted a 25 basis rate cut and it didn't happen. Like nobody cares, right? So just try to provide some value online if that's something you feel like you can do. And it doesn't have to be Instagram, right? It doesn't have to be TikTok. It doesn't have to be YouTube. If you're a great writer, you can go on LinkedIn. You can post on Threads or Twitter. If you like talking, you can start a podcast, right? So, the idea here is there is a lot of value in going one-to-one. I built my business that way. I still do a lot of that. And I like that, right? Because remember, I spend 2/3 of my time in Massachusetts sitting in my office doing Zoom and phone calls. When I go back home, which is typically once a month, I'll fly back, see people, do events, do a bunch of stuff. I do that because I get hyped off seeing my clients and my partners and being in the market. And that's why I'm 100% an advocate for that. But there is some value in having a way to show up for people when you're not there, to let them spend time with you. I think it was Google did a study that people need, they call it 7-Eleven for, but they need to spend 7 hours with you over 11 different touch points and hopefully on 4 different platforms, whether it's email, on the phone, YouTube, whatever, to really feel comfortable, right? That's how Google figured out when people actually buy a couch, they don't walk in and buy a couch like they used to the old days. They stalk the couch on Instagram. They talk to friends about it. They go sit on the couch. They watch videos. And then eventually you said, okay, cool. I'm ready to go buy the couch, right? And that's kind of how we need to think about creating an environment for people to spend time with us when we're not there. So we have, this in the mortgage business, we're like, okay, make a post and then get them to click the link to set up a call. Well, that's hard. That's hard. People don't necessarily want to go the whole journey with you on day one, right? They don't necessarily are not ready to transact just because you made a post about the 3 ways to fix your credit. Like you have to kind of provide value and let them know, let them feel comfortable because most people aren't ready to transact day one, but they're going to in the future. And that's the whole idea of continuing to stay present. It is a long game.